At one time, it wasn't cars that were jamming up London's highways. In the late 1800s, at the dawn of the petrol age, there were 50,000 horses in London hauling around things like beer, coal, people, pretty much everything you can think of. Now, bearing in mind, every one of those animals produced between 30 and 35 pounds of manure every day. It was an environmental disaster. The city couldn't cope. In fact, the Times cheerfully predicted that by about 1950, the streets of London would be under 9 foot of horse manure.
Eventually, it was the good old internal combustion engine that helped solve the great horse manure crisis of 1894. The motor car was the hero, not the villain as it seems to be seen by most folks these days.
A little bit tricky sometimes as a petrol head to admit that you're a big fan when you're at some swanky middle-class dinner party of the petrol-powered motor car, especially big-engined, multi-cylindered, sporty two-seaters like this one that don't really serve any practical purpose. But it's a bit ironic, isn't it, that the horsey set, the very people that nearly drowned us in excrement, don't seem to come in for any flack at all. I will grudgingly admit that after the horse and the petrol age that we're now in that third era, the era of the electric car, and that's not a bad thing. Cheap, clean, efficient, urban transport. But that doesn't mean the death of the motor car altogether. Just like the horse, the most charismatic, the fastest, the most interesting breeds will endure, they will survive. So they'll just need to be cherished, they need to be looked after, they need to be lavished with a bit of attention, and when it's a little bit quieter and there's not so much traffic in the lanes, take it for a little bit of a run from time to time. This 3.7 litre V6 Roadster is the most powerful traditionally built Morgan to ever leave their stables. It pushes out about 300 brake horsepower from an all aluminium lump, the same one as you find in the new Mustang, and it really likes tunnels.
As much as we all love the rumble and grunt of these big multi-cylindered engines, I think we have to accept that in this day and age they are a dying breed. Thankfully, however, old Morgans never really die. Even this V6 Roadster will eventually get bequeathed to its next doting owner, preserving just a little bit of our proud motoring heritage, and an increasingly rare soundtrack to go with it too.